If you've committed a crime and you don't want to do the time, you may be eligible for diversion. Please call the law offices of Jacob Khachatryan and you will be found ex-guilty.
Jacob Khachatryan is a criminal lawyer who will not promise you the world just to sell you up the river. With his experience and skills, you get a defense attorney that is truly by your side, defending you at every stage of the prosecution, including a jury trial where he's had over a 92% success rate for his clients. Whether it's a DUI, domestic violence, or even something as serious as murder, Jacob is the guy you need by your side. That's Jacob Khachatryan, attorney at law. Call 323-880-4000 for Jacob Khachatryan, criminal defense.
Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Chris Johnson, UCLA national champion. I need y'all to listen to the What's Bruin show. These dudes are off the hook.
You're listening to the What's Bruin Show, part of the What's Bruin Show network, with your hosts, Jake Berryfield and Mike Regalado, and occasionally some friends, talking all things UCLA sports. And now, it's time for the What's Bruin Show.
Well, hello, welcome to What's Bruin. I am your host, Jake Berryfield, and I'm joined by my good friend, Mike Regalado.
Hey, Mike.
What's up, yo?
Our friend Mike Regalado.
Hello.
That's him. Yeah. And it is MJ edition.
The ceiling is the roof.
The MJ edition.
And, of course, it's the What's Bruin Show on the What's Bruin Show network, at What's Bruin Show on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads if you still use that. What's Bruin Show at gmail.com, what'sbruin.substack.com. Those are all the places for the What's Bruin Show. Also on YouTube. Just search What's Bruin Show on YouTube, and you can see the show that we're doing right now, but with a nice little slideshow. And also, if you want some What's Bruin Show merchandise, for now it's on mylocker.net. You can see the link in the show notes. I think we've sold some shirts and stuff on there, but, you know, I don't know how to access the site, Mike. I don't know how we're going to get our money, but it's there somehow. And we also got a hotline, and we got a hotline call tonight from the wonderful, lovely, talented Carrie, but we'll play that in a minute. 805-399-4WBS.
Suck it, Reign of Troy.
Suck it, Reign of Troy. I'm going to have lunch with them on Friday. I don't know if Michael Castillo has paid his ticket yet. I don't know if he's done his traffic school yet, but he certainly did get a ticket, and we're rubbing it in. So, whatever. Okay, so, Mikey, I don't know how much you have tonight. We're going to talk about the spring game, or the spring practice, I should say. The spring showcase, I should say. And then we got some headlines. Probably we'll do that first, and then some What's Brewing. So this will be a relatively quick show. Get right through it, and then get on with it. So let's get to the Brofiliated Headlines with Mikey.
Hey, Mike. Mike Regalado.
That's a me.
So you got any headlines?
I do, actually, a few.
That's your cue, Mike.
Sounds rumpy-pumpy.
Well, let's get right through it because there are a few, but I just want to run through it.
I'm playing that for a friend. He really likes that. And I'll play the other one, too.
Well, I'm sorry, all right.
There it is.
Nice.
There you go, Jason. All right, Mikey.
Really quickly, women's basketball, UCLA got a transfer commitment from Oregon State from Charlize Leisure Walker.
Oh, that's fun.
Played 13.2 points, had 6.5 rebounds. She led the team in scoring, was third in rebounds, but she hasn't played since January. You want to know why?
Straight baller.
Porqué.
ACL tear.
Oh.
So they got a transfer. Good player.
You know what that sounds like?
Sounds rumpy-pumpy.
Very much so. So
Let's hope she heals up well.
That's now 11 players on the roster, especially after the exits from a few other players. And today it was announced that Christine Iwala, who I'm going to miss, she committed to Ole Miss. So good for her. Good for her. Although she's from Texas, so it's closer to home for her. So I can understand why that decision was made. What else?
So wait. So women's basketball, right? Not that I want to talk too much about it, but
I would like to avoid the basketball shows for as long as possible.
How many players do they carry on the old team?
15.
And how many have left so far?
3 have left on their own volition.
Yeah.
2 were graduates that are gone.
Yeah.
How many left total? 6, I think, from the start of last season. So,
all right, so there's still some familiar faces, but we have some new blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very good.
They are up to 11 right now, so they have 4 spots remaining.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Let's go.
Please fill them up, Coach Close.
Come on.
Men's, one of my favorites from last year, Berkey Boyotunchel, a.k.a. Mike D.
Yeah.
He's in the transfer portal
Wait, why was he Mike D?
because he looked like Mike D.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That's a bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer, man.
What a shame.
It's a bummer. But UCLA was still stacking in the transfers as they got transfer from Dominic Harris from LMU, guy
Okay.
who scored 14.3 points per game and shot 45% from the arc.
Just a baller, man.
Exactly.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So
Wait, where did he come from?
LMU,
LMU. Okay.
Loyola Marymount. Football.
Yes.
Offensive lineman Benjamin Roy and Brunifina.
I'm very sad about this.
I know,
What a
right?
shame.
In the
What a
portal.
shame. What a shame.
But
What a shame. What
they
a
got
shame.
two
What a
guys
shame.
transferring in from Arizona State.
That
You
part I
got
like.
Bryce Pierre, tight end. Didn't do much, but the fact that UCLA needs some tight end depth, I think he'll be able to help out, as well as offensive tackle Ruben Unije. I think I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but he's in. He comes from what was it, Houston? So that is helping out with the offensive line depth. So woohoo!
He's just a baller,
Well,
man.
It's really 2 in and 2 out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
In like the last 4 days, yeah. But there's
But so like it's a net. Like we're saying, it helps the offensive lineman depth, but there's really like a net zero
Yeah,
as far as
especially
like
is-
number of bodies.
yeah, and this is discounting high school recruiting. This
Sure.
is all transfer. So
Sure.
so good on the Bruins.
But what we're hoping is, I mean, and look, and I'm very sad for Bruno Fina to leave the program just personally because his dad is a cool guy on Twitter, and he was a former Buffalo Bill, and we liked that Bruin connection, but it just hadn't panned out for the young man up to this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know Carrie's going to ask about that later, but we'll deal with that later. But anyway, so 2 linemen in, 2 linemen out, plus tight end. Because we're talking about the UNLV guy from last week as well, the big giant guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What else?
And fan favorite Colin Schlee found a
The
home.
Schleister, I know.
Virginia Tech. So
Yeah.
good on him.
Go Hokies.
Our friend of the show,
I still wish he was staying.
Mr. Dave Hamilton out there in the New Yorks. I believe he's a Virginia Tech alum. He's quite happy that Schlee's
he?
going to the Hokies.
I don't know if I knew that. Let's go.
I think he went to grad school
All right, Hamilton.
there. So all right, Hamilton.
All right, Hamilton.
My name is Hamilton.
Yeah. 2 final things. We did have the spring showcase, which we're going to talk about, but the post-spring spring practice
Whoa.
Big Ten power rankings came out from 24/7 Sports.
Oh, my God.
You're a UCLA Bruins? 15 out of 18.
Whoa. I knew it was coming.
I'm seeing a lot
But I
of
didn't
that.
know it was coming like that.
Oh,
hold on.
honestly,
Hold
the
on. Let me pull up
majority-
the Big Ten.
Do it.
Oh,
do
my
it.
God. Oh, my Lord. Have mercy. This is good. They have a chance to overachieve, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's one way of looking at it.
And by the way, I was like, when Jay Toya was leaving last week, I was on the edge of disaster, and I was ready to freaking fold up the shop.
Yeah.
But then he came back, and we had the spring showcase, and I was injected with a little bit of optimism, I guess. But let's get to this article, Mikey. You're talking about a 247 article, not on Bro, but the same network, 247 Sports. And this is from April 29th, so yesterday, by one Carter Bonds. And let's go down this list of teams. Let's. Who do you think's number 1 there, Mikey?
Ohio State.
The Ohio State. That makes sense. Oh, my gosh. Incoming Pac-12 team, former Pac-12 team, Oregon Ducks at 2. Then Michigan at 3. Penn State. Okay. All this makes sense, right? Oh, Trojans at 5. Iowa Hawkeyes at 6. Okay. The defense,
I'm not hearing any
The
UCLA.
old Badgers at 7. You just stop me when you have a team that you think that the Bruins will definitively be better than. 8, the Cornhuskers. Okay.
Yes.
You think so? Definitively better?
Yeah.
I guess, well, it remains to be seen. They have them at 8. Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Yes.
I would hope so, but you never know. Okay. Washington Huskies replacing that whole team, basically.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. We'll see. Michigan State with their shiny new coach.
Oh, definitely.
The Maryland Terrapins.
Yes.
Okay. Northwestern Wildcats.
Yes.
I would hope so. The Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Yep.
We'll see. PJ Fleck, he didn't want to come to us. He wanted to stay over there, rode in the boat. And then finally get the UCLA Bruins. So the only teams that this 247 reporter said that the Bruins had an edge on at this point are the mighty Illinois Fighting Illini F you, Tom Fernelli, anyway, because he hates all the LA teams. That damn Chicago meathead. Also, let's see. The Hoosiers. We got a leg up on the Hoosiers.
Yep.
And then, last but not least, the Purdue Boilermakers.
Yep.
So 247 thinks we're going to be better than Purdue, Indiana, and Illinois.
Yeah.
That's tough. It is funny. I would like to point out that just a couple months ago, this was an article also from 247 Sports, different author, Cody Nagel, January 17th. They did a power rankings for the Big Ten back then, and the Bruins were not at 15. Mike, they were all the way up at, 10. Mm-hmm. Ahead of the Huskies, ahead of Maryland, ahead of Rutgers, ahead of Northwestern, ahead of the Gophers, and then the other teams were the same. Still ahead of Indiana, Illinois, Purdue. What is the only difference between the team then and now? They had the lame coaching change where Chip Kelly left to go to Ohio State. Mm-hmm. And then they scrambled and got Deshaun Foster and yada, yada, yada. But interesting. I don't know. I would say they're 15 in the power ranking, but it's not a strong 15. Like, it could be as high as reading off the names of those teams, Mike. I'm with you. Like, I wouldn't say they're definitively better than those other teams, but I certainly could see a world where they could be.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they still have to prove themselves, but at the same time, 17, a lot of those, and you'll read it in their little analysis, it just goes to Deshaun Foster having no head coaching experience at all.
Yeah, well, that's why it's a total unknown. And so, like I said, if you told me that the Bruins are going to have a terrible year next year, I wouldn't be surprised. There's all sorts of things that might not work out. However, there are also a lot of things that could go right for the Bruins, and they could be just fine. They could be as good as they were probably going to be under Chip Kelly heading into next year. If things break right for them, not that much has changed between the assessment in January from the one author and the one in April. Now it's just I should say it's funny. Not much has changed. Everything has changed. Not much has changed, but everything has changed, right?
There you go.
That's kind of, and that's why it's so unpredictable.
I was going to say, two things that probably would change is Jay Toya probably wouldn't be here.
Oh, you think not?
Well,
they might not have got the money, and then they would be able to pay him.
NIL would not be where it is right now. Like Deshaun Foster, Men of Westwood, they have all pushed for donors to help out and add to the collective. So,
hey, they're getting my $30 a month. Gee whiz. Cha-ching.
So, that's actually a really good way to say it. Not a lot has changed, but everything has changed.
It's funny. You were just sharing with me, right? We broke for a minute. There was a tweet from a guy, an Ohio State guy, that was like looking at Chip Kelly's offensive numbers the last 4 years at Oregon and at UCLA, right?
Yeah.
Which were relatively impressive, except for last year. And then you tweeted him what?
I quote tweeted him and said, "Now do recruiting rankings and bowl records." And he just simply replied with a GIF that said, "No."
The John Candy no from Trains, Planes, and Automobile.
Yeah,
that was good. That was good stuff.
Respect, sir.
Yeah. Okay, well, we had a pretty good discussion about this last week. I would just point to about how unknown things are, and that could lead to a lot of things going well, a lot of things going bad, or somewhere in between. And that's probably what we're looking at for the UCLA football season heading into the Big Ten this fall. And that's the thing. We're not really going to know much about anything until we actually get to the games, barring some weird developments that happen, injury-wise. I don't think they're... Mike, correct me if I'm wrong before we close down the headlines, but...
Hi, bro.
The portal is now shutting down, right? And that's across the country, right?
Yes.
So we're going to...
For multiple sports, yeah.
Yeah, and that's tomorrow. So we're pretty much going to have the roster that's there heading into the fall. So at least then we can speculate about all the things we don't know. The one thing we will know is what players will be on the roster. So I guess that's
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
One final thing,
please.
Very quick.
I don't know why every time we start the show, like the dogs start barking outside the garage. So I apologize if you can hear that in the What's Bruin studio.
They're excited.
It's
I don't
super
know.
annoying.
I would say that.
I don't know what the hell their problem is. Anyways, go ahead.
Just really quickly, it was the NFL draft, and our homies Leatu Latu and Darius Muasau. Unfortunately for the Bruins, the only two Bruins selected.
He's just
but
a baller, man.
Muasau was 15th overall, the first defender to get selected.
Not Muasau.
He was
Liatu Latu.
Liatu Latu. He was the first defender selected, the first Bruin taken in the draft. He was the first Bruin taken in the first round since 2017, I believe, when Josh Rosen and Colton Miller were taken in the first round. So that was a given. It seemed like a few others might have been drafted, but unfortunately, the only other one was Darius Muasau, who was taken probably about an hour before the spring showcase started.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the guys like Grayson Murphy, Gabriel Murphy, Carl Jones, they weren't drafted, but along with us, there were 9 total undrafted free agents that signed with the team. So cheers to them. So that was actually 2 more than last year of total Bruins that went to the NFL. So cheers to those guys. So.
Cheers to those guys indeed. Very good. All right, well, that's the end of the headlines, and let's get on to our own set of cheers.
Do you think we drink too much?
No, we don't drink too much. Men face reality, women don't. That's why men need to drink.
I hate it when podcasters talk about what they're drinking.
That little weirdo makes the best Manhattan I've ever had.
What else am I gonna drink, Bob? A fucking Fresca?
And welcome to What's Bruin Symposium. Of course, it's a conversation over drinks. And that's what me and Mike are doing right now. I'm having a cocktail. Or actually, I'm just having a whiskey, and he's having a beer. Mm-hmm. But, well, thank you for your support in the What's Bruin Show. You can support us at patreon.com/What's Bruin Show or just what'sbruinshow.com for how much, Mike?
$2.
Just $2 a month.
$2.
Or on the Substack, what'sbruin.substack.com for just a little bit more. And that gets you access to the Slack channel, which you can interact with us pretty much any time of the day. We don't ever shut it down. And
it's pretty active all year round.
It really is. You know, it's a small community, but it's a lot of, it's stalwarts. You know, the guys really are dedicated, and we appreciate those guys. And to be perfectly honest with you, if you join and I send it to you, I'm probably never going to take you off the damn thing. So whether you're paying or not, just a secret to you. But Mikey.
What's up?
With the Symposium tonight, what are you having? You got a beer over there?
Yeah, I haven't had this in a while. 818 Brewing out of Canoga Park here in the San Fernando Valley. This is First Stage West Coast IPA. This is one of those hipster brews.
I love
We've been there
cans,
before.
yeah.
We've been
That's
to
got
that
like
brewery.
the bubblegum blonde ale too, right? The one with the blonde on the front with the bubblegum?
That is actually paperback.
Damn it.
Similar. That one is out of Glendale.
Oh, okay.
But still, both I love both of them. And even though they're a little bit pricey, inflation and all.
Mike, I support anything.
Still like to support the local
great
breweries. Yeah, so that's what I got here. The West Coast IPA. What do you got, Jake?
Very good. I'm going on a trip to Tennessee next month, and so I'm going through a little bit of my
Tennessee.
Oh, I love that.
Tennessee.
Jack Daniel's stock. So this is I'm just having some nice simple Jack Daniel's bottled and bond, 100 proof, and I kind of turn my nose up at the normal Jack, but anything above the Gentleman Jack grade, I think it's generally pretty nice, especially those master distiller blends. And I'm going to be picking up a few more when I go out there. So, yeah, that's what I'm having tonight. Jack Daniel's Bonded Tennessee Whiskey Sour Mash. Mikey, it's fun on the What's Bruin Show, on the Symposium. And
I missed the 2 other fellas, but hey. You know,
yeah, F those guys.
They'll be back
Although
soon.
Jamaal does have a podcast that he'll be, another car cast he's doing for the demise of the Lakers, which is very sad.
Yeah.
But, yeah, thank you guys for your support. And Mike, how much once more?
$2.
$2.
Just $2. And you can send the What's Bruin Show into the future. Cheers.
Blue 32! Blue 32! California! California! Hood! Hey! Football!
Hi, What's Bruin Show? It's Carrie. Just wanted to say hello. I know you'll probably be talking about the spring showcase, so I look forward to hearing how it went. I'm up here in Northern California, so living through you on the What's Bruin Show. Curious what you think in terms of football personnel. Specifically, do you think we're going to get a good edge edge rusher, and I think Bruno Fina is in the portal, and it sounds like he was, based on the interview I saw of Deshaun Foster, did it seem like he might have been encouraged to go into the portal? Or anyways, I just know that we need to work on our offensive line, and he was a starter, I think. So kind of curious if you had any thoughts about that. Also, Burke's in the portal. Lots of stuff happening. I don't know how you guys keep up with it all. And there's not to mention the men's volleyball and women's beach volleyball. Lots of stuff happening. So it's fun. It's actually been a really fun off season in the sense of off season for football. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys are doing well and look forward to hearing your show. Go Bruin.
Oh, well, thank you, Carrie, very much for calling in and keeping the What's Bruin Show hotline alive. Sometimes I can get a little shaky in the off season. But I do want to say that I think Carrie called a couple weeks ago, and it just got buried in my email, so I want to apologize to her.
How dare you, Jake?
But you know what? Persistence pays off.
We're here for the people.
We love Carrie.
You let him down.
And she was persistent and got her call on the air. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Carrie.
Getting into her living vicariously through us because she's a NoCal person. What do you think about the whole? We talked a little bit about it. 2 linemen out, 2 linemen in. Coincidentally, if you look at the old bro, the 2 guys that came in slated as starters. You ended up putting Makahele at right guard, and you put Unije at left tackle, just like slot him in as starters, right? Yeah. And that goes along with another transfer, Spencer Holstage, that's already been a starter, but he was a transfer into the program, to go along with something like Carlin or Yoon at center and probably DeGiorgio at right tackle.
Yeah.
Do you think that the fact that these guys came in and theoretically came in with the intention of starting had anything to do with the other guys, Fina leaving, and why can't I think of
Benjamin Roy.
Roy. Those guys,
or if we were in Canada,
getting out of here,
Benjamin Roy.
Yeah, Benoit. So anyways,
I opted not to say that.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Benoit out of the program along with Bruno Fina. So anyways, Mike, what's your take on that? It seems like maybe, Carrie was asking, was this something that was signaled maybe by Deshaun's comments, where they kind of run out of the program a little bit?
I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting to see how Deshaun Foster. Number one, it's interesting to see how Deshaun Foster is taking these questions. He, you can see that he sometimes he pauses to think about it. Some of his inflections are, interesting to see. How he's phrasing certain things, the tone of it. I'm not sure, but Fina, if anything, Fina and Roy were probably going to play, quite a bit. And if anything...
But they were the depth we were speaking of, right?
Yeah.
They weren't necessarily going to end up beating out these transfers and starting. Like, we don't know. Maybe they could have.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. I don't know.
But maybe the writing was on the wall a little bit.
Yeah, probably. But at the same time, if you still have a chance to play, hey, super cool. If you have a chance to play a lot more somewhere else, hey, that's even better for these guys. So,
I don't have the same warm and fuzzy feel. You know what, Mike? This leads to another little bit of a discussion, because watching Fina and Roy leave the program, I am filled with I hope they find a place where they can play and where they are successful. I do feel it in my heart, and maybe that's just kinship amongst lineman to lineman or whatever. Like, I really do. Generally, offensive linemen are generally in relatively well-adjusted, good people, especially on a scale of like football players. I'll bet you offensive linemen are
and probably
generally
the smartest,
the most well-adjusted.
According to Jake
the
Merrifield.
Smartest thing might be oversold a little bit, but it is just football. But what I'm saying is, I really do want those men to be successful wherever they head off to.
Yeah.
I don't have the same feelings about other players that maybe have left the program recently. But when we saw that Kyle Ford, who I really was sad to see.
Well, there's a if Kyle Ford went to Clemson, would you have the same sentiment?
I'm saying I don't have any negative feelings about Kyle Ford. I'm saying I was sad to see him go. I saw other people going, "Oh, thanks for being a Bruin." I don't have any of those feelings, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sad to see him go. I wish he wasn't leaving, but I also am like, geez, I hope Kyle Ford kills at SC Just like I'm really not hoping that Dante Moore kills it at Oregon. Like, it's
especially
funny.
the way that they exited because of that whole thing with I had a mental lapse for a year or something like that.
Yeah,
It's like,
get that.
dude.
Or more, I want someone to go somewhere where I can be developed, whatever. Yeah. I don't know. This is kind of maybe like a topic for another day.
Oh, Jake,
but like,
breaking news.
At what point, hold on, do you get to be super petty about things?
Right now.
Because I'm petty sometimes, and other times I'm not petty. Okay.
Breaking news.
On a weekly
Petty
basis.
alert.
Wait, can you be petty? Right now, because as you were just making that speech,
Yeah.
Dante Moore threw another pick six.
Oh, son of a bitch. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I do wish him well. It was an awkward situation. There was just, hey, at least he's not Shedeur Sanders, who's getting raked today. He basically, there was a guy in Colorado who, long story short, Daddy Sanders said something to a player, said, hey, maybe you should go in the transfer portal. He was like, no, I want to stay. And then he felt like he was being alienated or something. I'm paraphrasing. And then eventually did. And Shedeur Sanders, and this story would have just died. But Shedeur Sanders had to come out of nowhere and say, "Oh, like I don't even know who that guy was." He's like, "Yeah, he was probably mid anyway."
Yeah,
mid in the youngin nomenclature basically means average.
Yeah,
not elite, something like that.
It's pretty cray.
Yeah.
But I mean, people aren't necessarily happy when they get to see how the sausage is made.
Yeah,
and that's one thing. It is annoying, and the whole Neon Dion experience has been something else at Colorado, and I'm wondering if those guys are going to have any buyer's remorse if and when he bounces after this season, or if and when they go, 4-8 in the Big 12 or whatever. But brutally honest is something you could use as a descriptor for Neon Dion in that program, right?
Yeah.
So at least it's the honest part, even if it's brutal.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's funny, bringing it right back around to what Carrie's question was.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there was some of that signaled towards Bruno and Roy, right? In that, hey, you might have thought that this was your chance to start, but you went through spring practice we went out and got two other guys.
Yeah.
So,
well, they needed to get two other guys anyway.
Yes.
I mean, that line is thin. They needed to get tight ends. We have always talked about this too. You always need to have a lot of offensive linemen.
Yeah, of course.
Now, development is on the coaches, but it's also on the players themselves. And if they're not, I mean, these are guys that have been in the program at least two seasons.
Yeah. And had 3 different offensive line coaches at this point.
Yeah, I guess that's true too. That doesn't help. But.
All I would say is that these guys may be leaving because they feel like they have a better chance to start somewhere else. And that's probably what the reasoning is.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like these are guys that are leaving because they're getting a bag somewhere, right? We know that's not the case in all likelihood.
Yeah.
But, you talked about earlier, my quality depth, right? They didn't want to be the quality depth. They wanted to be the starters, and it didn't look like the writing on the wall didn't look like it was going to be that. And so they bounced. And I think, as much as certain circles of the Bruin podcast world, well done, you son of a bitch, have been disparaging the UCLA offensive line, I would just like to say we need to reserve judgment until we actually get to the games and see if they have a quality running game and see if they're able to protect. My name is Ethan. Oh,
My name is Ethan.
Or just call me Eve.
and we'll see, and we'll have to go from there.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
But easy, everybody. With the offensive line is in trouble, sort of talk.
Jake is going to kill you.
I will come over there. I'll come over there and educate you.
He will
I will
arrest
show you exactly how much is the responsibility of the offensive line, and how much of it is because some stupid ass running back didn't do his job, or because some goddamn quarterback held on the ball too long.
Although
or
I got
some GDM quarterback couldn't make a decision. Gee whiz.
Yeah.
Well, anyways.
Yeah.
My point is, it's a combination of all those things.
Oh, definitely.
But everybody just wants to say offensive line is your fault. Us selfless guys in the trenches so mean to us, and just like water off the duck's back. We're there to help people.
Be like a goldfish.
We're helpers.
Shake. Be like a goldfish.
We're
shake.
helpers. That's right. All right. I'm sorry. Let's move on.
Helpers. You guys are the pushers and shovers.
There we go.
You're the doers and makers.
I like that, Mikey. All right. Anyways, Carrie was also asking, what else was she asking about spring practice? Well, let's just get into spring practice.
Yeah.
All right. Once again, Carrie, thanks for the call.
Really quickly, before we get into spring practice,
Yes.
I will say the offensive line actually created a big hole as during this the spring showcase when there was a kid Do
you remember his name?
On the field. I don't remember his name because I caught it at the last minute.
Yeah. Ran
past the UCLA defense, which is suspect to me.
Yeah.
Could not bring down this 4-foot child.
I don't know
and
why
he
you can't tackle a 4-foot tall kid.
Scored a touchdown.
That's pretty rough.
And then the defense and offense cheered with him, so the defense really has to figure out where they're at. No, I'm just kidding.
You really need to re-examine your priorities if you're letting a 12-year-old score a 70-yard touchdown on you. Brian Addison, I think, did a reverse cartwheel. Okay, like that's not going to work in the Big Ten, pal. You get your shit together.
Bringing it back 2 steps, I thought that was
super nice.
That was one of several amazing moments in the spring showcase.
Mm-hmm.
To not only they not only had that, but they had fans try to kick a field goal for season tickets.
That was fun,
which is pretty cool. It's just the little things like that. It doesn't take much to just show that you care. And Deshaun Foster is just showing more and more and more. And now the fans are they're getting behind him.
Mikey, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Exactly.
Let's back up a little bit. Back it up. Beep, beep, beep. Okay, so they had the spring showcase this last Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You were there. I was there.
Mm-hmm.
OnlyLoons.com was there.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm, my strapping young son, was there.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people were there, like 11,000 people.
So some of our slackers were there.
Yes.
Some WBSers.
That's right.
Just the fact that my Twitter timeline was full of people that were just showing their different angles of it was just awesome to see.
We had heard that as many as 24,000 people had reserved tickets.
Yes.
Now, did 24,000 show up?
No. The final number was around 11,000.
In the neighborhood of 11,000.
Yeah.
But to be fair, too, they weren't even scanning people's barcodes, and I walked in a half hour late, and who knows if that was part of the count. But basically, the middle section, of the shady side of the Rose Bowl was relatively full.
Yes.
Like that's an accurate description of it, right? Those like 6 sections or whatever, before you got to any of the curvature of the Rose Bowl, that part was filled up. And, and it was funny when I played at the Rose Bowl 20 years ago with the LA Heat against a New York Firemen team. That's kind of the section that we filled up as well. It was like, they reminded me of that, which was kind of a fun little flashback. But anyways, there were a lot of fans there. Okay. Especially relative to what has been showing up at the Rose Bowl for actual games.
Yeah.
Me and you were kind of speculating that if they actually got 25,000 out there, would they actually beat the Chip Kelly low in attendance
of 27,000
versus Bowling Green, right?
2 years ago, yeah.
They didn't get there. They didn't get anywhere close to there. However, still for a spring practice, right? A spring showcase, whatever.
Yeah.
It was an encouraging sight.
Yeah,
there are people that are excited to be around the UCLA football program right now. And, even though we don't know how the games are going to go, that at least is a very positive sign, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like Deshaun Foster is pushing the right buttons at this point.
Yeah.
One of the things you pointed out, just getting into the atmosphere of the game. Were you there before the practice started? All the stuff they had outside, because I walked in about an hour and a half late, and so I saw the remains of the events they had.
I walked through. I didn't participate in any of it, but still, just to have like a fan fest there,
like a fan zone, fan fest, bouncy castles,
exactly,
food trucks.
It just shows that there was some thought into this. It's like, hey,
they try to make it an event.
We want to promote this program. Come and check it out. Not just come to the Rose Bowl, but hey, there are games for kids. Although I got to talk to Deshaun Foster, they got to figure out the whole beer situation, because all they had was the Topo Chico and Dos Equis and Coors Light. No.
Mike's a snob. Get some 818 Brewery in there.
Yeah, UCLA has to be more extra.
Yeah.
In terms
not so mid.
Not so mid.
Not so mid.
Don't bring in the mid beer.
Yeah.
But it just showed that people that it cared. And one thing that was it might be small, but to fans it is such a huge thing that I talked to you like off air. The return of the Bruin Walk.
Yeah.
Just to start things off.
And describe what that is.
The Bruin Walk is a tradition that has been around forever, and Chip Kelly killed it, kind of like this program. But basically, so really quick.
Chip Kelly can kind of be a dick.
for killing Bruin Walk.
So Chip Kelly would basically have the bus pull in right in front of the Rose Bowl, and the team would basically just walk down into the tunnel, right into the locker room.
Yeah.
The Bruin Walk starts at the end of, I think it's Lot H, and it's literally this alley. I would say it's probably about an eighth of a mile. Like the Bruins have to walk.
It's lengthy.
But it's something. It's something to get the fans cheering. And yeah, basically the team got off the bus, walked this alley right into the Rose Bowl, and it was a chance for them just to say, hey, what's up? Take pictures, just get cheers. The cheerleaders were there. People were taking pictures, films.
And it is just a kind of a recreation, considering that one of the disadvantages that the Bruins have in playing at the Rose Bowl, obviously it's an honor to play at such a historic stadium and all that stuff, and the beautiful, like there's no better view in college football than a game in the Roro Seco and all that stuff, yada, 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 right? However, what the Bruins are giving up, not having a home stadium, is things like that. Like the Trojans walk from their locker room, like through campus down into, or not from the locker room, but like they do like the same sort of thing, right? And they hit the poles going across the street in the Coliseum or whatever.
Yeah.
Lots of schools have sort of that, and this is a recreation of that. They get off the buses and they do a walk, a parade through the fans.
Yeah,
give them an
basically
opportunity to see the dudes before the game, and that's a cool thing.
Yeah,
and for whatever reason, Chip Kelly, who can kind of be a dick, took that away, and whatever. But now it's back, and that's a cool thing. And you like the swag, right? You like.
I did want to point that out.
Another thing the kids say is the fit. What was the fit like?
Yeah, the fit was okay, I don't know anymore. Other adjectives the kids are using. It was again, these were elite. Just an all white sweatsuit with the old school Bruin, Joe Bruin, right dead in the center.
Pretty badass.
I mean, these things look amazing.
Yeah.
First off, I talked to the homie Kelly beforehand. First off, we're like, these are awesome. Secondly, if UCLA needs to sell those, but also that black bomber jacket.
I was going to have you bring that up too.
Just even from a fashion sense, UCLA can be so marketable, and it's just so. God, it's so mid. Oh my God.
Well, I will say this: Deshaun Foster seems to be a fashionable gentleman.
Oh hells yeah!
That seems to be a little more top of mind for him than one Chip Kelly ever was, right?
Yeah.
So that's just something else that he's bringing to the table that's different from what the other guy was, right?
Exactly.
Better, worse, whatever, but it's something that's there, right? And now we've already got a few examples of just the restyling of the UCLA program to be a little more
not exactly
rebranding,
let's go. Yeah, up to date. There you go.
Up to date. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So you get in there, and that's the thing. They did the Bruin Walk. Pardon me. At 11:30 a.m., there was the UCLA men's soccer team that took on the Liga All-Stars European team under 23.
How'd they do?
What was the final score? 15-0 Bruins?
Whoa!
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't see the game. I just heard the updates, and there weren't a lot of people there in the stands watching
Hold on,
the game.
There's a fight song.
UCLA. UCLA, fight, fight, fight.
That's awesome.
And then the festivities started at 2:00.
Yeah. I got there about 2:30.
People were filing in, trying to get their seats. It was open seating. Just a lot of alumni, football alumni.
They had a big batch of football alumni that they announced.
Yeah.
I will say this. If it's open season at the Rose Bowl, right? And they're filling up that whole shady section and the sections below the shady section. And I got there about 2:30. I walked in and I walked immediately down around the concourse, down the stairs, and I was like row 20 or whatever in one of those sections in front of at the 40-yard line or whatever. And there were 4 open seats and then 2 kids that were kids, I say teenagers, that were in the 5th and 6th seat. And I said, "Hey, is anybody sitting here?" And they're like, "No, nobody's sitting there. The people just left." I'm like, "Okay, fine." So then me and Malcolm sit down. And then 10 minutes later, some douchebag walks up and he's like, "Hey, we were sitting there." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm not going to get into an argument with you because it's just stupid."
Yeah.
But It's open seating,
Yeah,
and you get up
seriously.
and just leave your seats. Like,
Exactly.
what kind of a douchebag are you to be like, oh, my seats are saved, or I left my Coca-Cola cup there. Oh my gosh, it's like,
Oh, jeez.
dude, get the fuck out of here. Dude.
Yeah.
But anyways, I just got up and you know what? I got up and went to like better seats because it was open seating and there's all sorts of seats.
Exactly.
Anyways, I'm sorry.
Hey, yeah,
Commentary
as you
on
digress.
some of our loser fans. Anyways, love them all. Go Bruins.
But yeah, it was. I could best describe it as basically like
A glorified practice?
not just that, but just sensational practice to to have the fans experience what this is all about, what they're getting into, to have the media really come out there and just take there was so much media out there.
Where were you staged at, Mike? Because you literally ignored me the entire practice, and then I had to have my son tackle you to get your attention.
Did you call me? Because
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Because
I just kind of
that's the thing. Usually,
I'm actually just talking shit. I was looking for you, and then I saw you, and I said, Malcolm, tackle that guy.
And it was right there.
Yeah.
Like you guys were like right there. Usually I'm on the UCLA sideline, which is the west sideline, the shady side. That was all reserved for alumni and recruits and all
There's
that.
a lot of people there.
They shipped the media off to the sunny side, the east side. So I was there the entire time,
Cooking.
Aside from occasionally going to the bathroom, getting some water, going to visit the Kelly.
Taking some
if you would
water.
have told me
Taking
that you were
water for
there,
owenludes.com.
Exactly. So yeah, and then afterwards I was like, oh, there you are.
Yeah. I snuck in like I usually do.
Yeah.
And then I snuck out like I usually do.
And then after, I want to get your opinion because I didn't see what was happening with the on-field festivities because we immediately had to go into the media room to do our post-practice interviews.
I want to say this. Number one, would you agree with me that if you're going to say before the showcase that they were just going to do a glorified practice, that as far as glorified practices go, this was a success. And by success, I mean they kept things moving.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
In between different parts of the practice, they would do little announcements like they had the thing where they had the kid run for a touchdown. They had the thing where they announced all the Bruin football alumni.
Yeah.
They had different sorts of presentations that kept it like going like snap it, snap it, snap it. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I thought that for that, it was a terrific event.
Yeah.
Now, you have to balance that against,
basically drills for 2 hours under Chip Kelly.
Yes. Something that the Godfather, Jim Bendat, our dear friend, said right before the practice started was he basically flamed them saying, I thought this was supposed to be a quote-unquote spring game, and these guys pussed out, basically, right? There's that perspective, and then there's the other perspective. Maybe some of our friends over at the Revival were like, oh my God, this is the greatest event in the history of events, right? It's probably somewhere in between those two things. Yes?
It was more of a game than it has been, but it's also they
had a couple live periods, but they were not tackling.
Well, that's the thing. Compared to Chip Kelly, they would have. I would say 75% of the showcase was drills, and 25 was live periods. And this was
and they
opposite.
literally, Mike, tell me if this is true because I remember this distinctly at the Chip Kelly Spring Games. They did the normal practice, the normal drills, and they had different people from the program on the sidelines giving middle fingers to the fans that were on the sidelines, like basically saying "fuck you." This is boring, and we know it's boring, but go fuck yourselves. Like I remember that. Is that? Am I misremembering things? I just remember every time Chip Kelly had a practice, he would have guys staying on the sidelines with middle fingers to the fans.
I don't remember
Is that
that.
Is that not accurate?
Am
I misremembering?
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Okay,
but yeah, it was. There was more. Well, the thing was apparently on the broadcast. Deshaun Foster said that there was not going to be live tackling, which is fine. It's only spring. You don't want guys losing their heads. But they did have live periods. They were going 11 on 11. But also, were you there for the first few periods? I know you said you were.
I was not.
Okay, so when things started, they had, as they do on all of their Saturday practices, they have the one-on-one competitions, which is basically.
I got there for the one-on-ones.
Pride Alley.
Oh yeah, I didn't see
all
that
stuff.
I got there for the one-on-ones with the DBs and the wide receivers. That was fun.
Yeah. So that was basically the second part.
Yeah.
The first part is where the team, they have the matchups. The team, the defense is on one side, the offense is on one side, and the crowd got to see exactly what was going on. Where I was basically looking into the back of jerseys, so I couldn't see exactly what was happening, but they were also putting it on the Jumbotron.
Right.
And that just generated some excitement. That was good. That was a great way to start it. And then they have the one-on-ones and like passing drills, you know.
That was fun. And they had somebody announcing it.
Moved right into like actual drills, which is, you know, kind of boring, but you can kind of see what was going on because it still is a practice. But then they did have, oh God, it was probably about an hour and a half of live periods, which
it wasn't that long, but they had a significant amount of 11 on 11.
Yeah. Which is better than what it had been. For one, you got to see how the offense is starting to shape up. It's clearly different, but I don't know. From an offensive perspective, I think there are a few elements that are kind of being used from last season. The fact that they're using like 2 tight end sets, or since the tight ends are, you know, it was pretty thin, they're using offensive linemen as an extra tight end or whatnot. You're not having like really crazy formations, but there's still some. I think it's simplified.
There wasn't any reinventing of the wheel from what I saw.
Exactly.
And by the way, you're not going to see it in the spring practice anyway.
Exactly.
But look, the main takeaway from this is that I think if you took the time to reserve a ticket, drive to the Rose Bowl, walk into the Rose Bowl, watch the spring showcase, which was a glorified practice, and then participate in the aftermatch, which was if you want to go down to the field and talk to the players, get autographs, take pictures. This was all something that you could do, and they made it as enjoyable as you could possibly make it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think it would have been any more enjoyable if we would have had a traditional spring game, okay? I really don't. And plus, you might have had some injuries come out of it or whatever, and I think that's the last thing that anybody wants, especially as far as The Godfather, Jim and Dad, I love him to death. He is he's watched more college football probably combined than any of us, like, you know, times 2.
Yeah.
But I don't really need a spring game in the spring. I don't. I'm fine going to practice, watching guys run around, and if they're going to make it into kind of like a circus atmosphere like they did with UCLA and actually try to do something with it, I am totally fine with that. And I understand why people could disagree with that, but for me, I think it was a well-executed event, and I think if they do this, and by the way, you know, if they come out next year and they're 2-10, they're probably not going to get a bunch of excitement for going into the next season. But if they come out next year and they're threading making a bowl game or better, then they can build
Deshaun
on
Foster
this.
went 6-6 in his first season. Oh, how can they get better than that?
Whatever it is, they can build on it, right? And this could be an even bigger event next year. And I think if they do it like they did this year, it'll be just fine.
Yeah,
it'll be just fine. And you'll probably have more than 11,000 people. Maybe you have 15, maybe you have 20, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was a well executed event. After they had a well-executed event at Friday Night Lights, after Deshaun Foster and his staff
That's a really good point, too.
executed a bunch of other things quite well.
Yeah.
As far as they're doing the right things, we're not going to know if it's going to pay off yet. But as of right now, like, this is cool. I mean, I'm perfectly happy with this. This is making me excited to be a Bruin. It's making me feel like doing a cheer.
Yeah. Fight!
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel right now. That's great.
There's some excitement. There's, as you said, it's kind of proud to be a Bruin. The fact that all the coaches are tweeting when they get a commitment. The fact that Stacey Ford is just all over the Twitter. He's the new I forgot who did the booms.
Ethan.
Young. Ethan Young, yeah. He's Stacey Ford is definitely stepping it up in that aspect, just saying, "Hey, come here. It's a good day to be a Bruin. We're excited to do this. Oh, if here we have mini camps that are coming on, for kids or whatnot. There's just more. Like literally #do more that Deshaun Foster is putting out there.
And I just want to point out that we don't need an actual legitimate spring game. You're probably not going to get one.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And just enjoy, that they're making effort to make whatever they put out there into something that is attendable.
Yeah.
As opposed to, in direct contrast to the previous regime, which, like I said earlier, I don't know if it's accurate or not. I don't know if it's factually correct or not, but it sure did feel like there were people standing on the sidelines at any given moment saying, fuck you to the fans. And that's how I'll remember.
Chip Kelly can kind of be a dick.
That era to a degree. Although, like I said, I mean, I had lots of positive to say about Chip too, but whatever. That's as far as the public outreach, it was always deuces, right? Like this. It was like, I'm a Flight of the Conchords fan, and if you watch the episode with Aziz Ansari, where it's like the fruit vendor that really, 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 really did not like New Zealanders until he realized that they weren't Australianers, but he was just like double middle fingers to everyone all the time. That's what Chip Kelly treated his fan base. God bless Chip, but gee whiz, he did not like anybody that was a fan of the thing that he was in charge of.
Felt like it.
Now we don't have that, at least. That's good. Mikey, do we have anything else to say about this particular thing?
No, that was pretty good. I mean, and I would like to talk about what actually happened in there, but from my perspective, I didn't get to see a lot.
We're not going to be able to tell anything, Mike.
Exactly.
It's okay.
No, that's my point.
Let's not overthink it.
I will say, I like where Ethan Garbers is headed. I think he...
his name is Ethan. You can call me.
You're going to hit the drop, Jake?
My name is Ethan.
Just call me E.
I was waiting for that. I think he has a good control of the offense so far. Justin Martin, I think he's going to be a bit of a badass. I like what TJ Harden and Keegan Jones are bringing.
Yes. I love it. Those drops are so like fucking obscure too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, come on.
Yeah, if youngins,
this is why I love the
if youngins were listening to this, they'll be like,
"What?
Who's that?
What?
What is that? Is that the new Billie Eilish?" No.
Figure it out, kid.
Yeah, the defense. I think obviously it's not going to be as potent as last year, but I still like the fact that they're sticking with what they're doing. I think Kane Madrano is just going to be an absolute beast this year, as well as Oladejo.
Yeah,
and I think Brian Addison is going to bring in a lot of needed help, but also Ramon
the anarchist and your boss Tracy were talking about.
I'm a bomb throwing anarchist now.
How odd it is to see a 6'5" safety defensive back out there.
Yeah,
and I hadn't seen it until I just saw it this last Saturday.
Yeah,
and I would just like say, yeah, now I seen it,
right,
and now I understand. It is odd. But it's kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly.
SC had a 9-foot tall linebacker that's played the last couple of years. I can't think of the kid's name right now. But they had a dude that was playing linebacker that was like, it was like Shaq out there or whatever.
Dear God.
It's fun. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, give me a big, giant, tall guy.
But you know what? The whole outreach, the fact that UCLA is just inviting a lot of recruits, you're going to get more of that. You're going to, screw this whole 8-clap 8th golden ticket crap that Chip Kelly was doing. It did nothing.
Chip Kelly?
What did he bring in?
I think Chip Kelly is probably the worst coach in the Pac-12 right now.
He brought in, again, I'm not trying to diss Dante Moore because he was a solid high school recruit. They brought in a five-star QB, but he immediately left. What's the...
Dante!
Where are you?
Oh, wow. You're bringing the old Mike Juarez one. Wow.
We're going to do a drop show soon. So if there's any drops that you really enjoy, let me know and I'll try to dig them up. Anyways,
nice.
Sorry. I digress. Mikey.
But yeah, no, it just, I don't want to go too deep into what this offensive defense is because, again,
we don't know.
Like you said, we don't know.
There's way
spring.
unknowns.
This is just filling it out, seeing what's going on at each position, checking out the depth. There are going to be more players coming in the fall, and that's when things are really where the screws are going to be tightened. So I'm pretty excited. I'm definitely not going to predict that they're going to win the Big Ten, but they're definitely, as we said earlier, I don't think that they're going to be 15th. Exactly.
I think that's a good place to end it, and I think that's a good sentiment to end it on. And Mike,
what's up, yo?
If they had, like I said, if Jay Toya had left, and all of a sudden, we don't know what's going on, I definitely agree with you. I think they're in the jumble of teams that could end up somewhere in the middle of the Big Ten, just as they stand right now.
Yeah.
Without, and I want to say this right now, without any overachieving, I think they're in the jumble of teams that could end up in the middle of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
If they actually overachieve, then hey, now we make it into a little bit higher of a tier. In an 18-team conference, that's got like 4 tiers to it,
That's
5
insane,
tiers, 6
dude.
tiers. That's crazy.
insane.
That's just crazy talk.
Well, I mean, it's
Are
weird.
they a
you know,
national title contender? Not in
Oh,
any
God,
way,
no.
stretch, or
No,
form.
no.
Are they a conference title contender?
No.
Absolutely not. But could they go out there and have a chance against whatever team they line up against? Fuck yeah, why not? Let's go. Go Bruins.
I mean,
Come on, let's go.
This is what I think about the Big Ten.
Go
There's
Bruins.
like 4 excellent teams and everyone else.
Yeah.
And UCLA, everyone's expecting them to not do well simply because Deshaun Foster doesn't have head coaching experience and nobody knows what he can do. But he's building something. There's momentum.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if it's all for naught or not. But hey, all right. Anyways, Mikey. With that being said, let's finish this and get on to our former friend Bill's favorite part of the show. He's not my friend anymore. I hate it.
Screw that guy.
Screw that guy.
Love you, Bill.
I love you, Bill. And that is what's brewing with you.
What's brewing with you? Yes, man. What's brewing with me? Yeah. What's brewing with you? What's brewing with me? What's brewing with you?
One of the things we're going to do for the off season is I am going to do like a drop show. Like we're going to bring back some of the drops from we started the show in gosh darn 2013.
We definitely have to do some after darks. We didn't do a single one this year.
Whether it's an after dark or not, and God bless anybody who actually subscribes to the show.
$2.
We love you to death. But, one of the things, we have accumulated a lot of like content for the show in the last number of years. And so I want to spend some time going back and just talking about that. So if there are any drops that you like, shoot them my way in the email, what'sbrewing@gmail.com, or tweet me or whatever. But I do want to go through like some of the themes that we've got, some of the fun things that you and Bill, you guys were very musical people at different points. We don't
The
own
never-ending story.
We never have. We'll play the rest of that at some point. But
I want the ultimate cheeseburger.
yeah, that one too. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, here's a little piece
Cheese
of
meat, cheese.
You got the touch. You got the power.
That's enough of that. Anyways, there's a long way of saying, Mike, when's the last time you did a goddamn theme?
Oh God, it's
You've been
been
slacking, man.
I have.
Give me a theme. I don't care what it's about. Make it about the birds. Go Birds. Philly. You're a Philly guy now. Whatever. Make it about something.
Definitely.
Give me a theme, Mike. Make me a theme about something.
Like an escape room.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever.
Oh.
Give me something. All right, Mike.
I have. Yeah.
Get the creative juices flowing. I need something. I need
cool.
I need some more content. All right. Anyway, Mike, what's wrong with you?
A lot of things. Last week was busy as hell. Obviously, the spring showcase. But that's all work technically. My daughter was in the East Coast last week for her 8th grade trip. Visited Washington D.C., Philadelphia, and New York, and it's just awesome. I'm just getting text and pictures. At one point, she sent like a block of 40 pictures, and I'm like waiting to see it, and it's taking like 5 minutes to load because it's all coming in at once. And it was just awesome just to see what the East Coast is like through my daughter's eyes, because I did the exact same 8th grade trip when I was in 8th grade.
Very cool.
And just super happy because I love all of those cities, DC, Philadelphia, and New York. But yeah, she came back just exhausted. So, I'm very happy for her. But yeah, this weekend, it was all about, the UCLA. Also, my girl Callie was here, so we ventured into
You refused to introduce me to your goddamn girlfriend, Mike. I'm really getting offended.
You didn't tell me when you were
I was
here.
going,
Yeah, I know you were here.
I brought Kelly a bottle of water, but you didn't ever.
You didn't tell me when you were there. You got there a half hour late.
Bar you were at
Jake.
after the spring showcase.
You texted me after the spring
I wouldn't
showcase.
have gone because Molly had prom.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
I want to meet Kelly. You son of a bitch.
She's really cool.
She's a lovely lady.
But yeah, no, we had a fun weekend just checking out all the local spots. Like I have fallen in love with Angel City Brewing in Little Tokyo. It's just a really fun spot. Like it looks like. It kind of looks like a New York City art gallery with like a loft,
Very cool.
except with really cool music and really cool beer.
Do they sell booze?
And tacos. It's a brewery. Oh, non-beer booze? No, it's a brewery. But,
Achilles.
But across the street afterwards, we went to the Mermaid, Just as really, you know the mermaid?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. The closest to a tiki bar in downtown LA.
Yeah, let's go, bro.
Just a fantastic little spot. But yeah, just went about basically, vacationed in my own city at that point. And it culminated with Sunday having a trip to the Santa Monica Pier.
Mike,
where
shut down for a minute. I got breaking news because I have something. I have a bone to pick with you. I'm
all
sorry,
right,
it's real quick. It's gonna be quick.
All right.
Goddamn breaking news drop. Where'd it go?
I don't know. What's
There
brewing?
we go.
What's brewing?
Breaking
You brought
news
out
on a weekly basis.
your fancy can of 818 Brewing, whatever, right? And I said, that's the one with the blonde chick on the cover blowing the bubble or whatever. And you're like, no, that's his other brewery. Valley Girl Ale is 818 Brewing.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
one I was
I'm
talking
sorry. I was thinking One Night with Nora.
Yeah.
Which is a
and I
brew
totally get
from
it. That's paperback.
Yes.
But this is 818.
Still, two
and
good
that's one of my
breweries.
favorite bottles or cans is the Valley Girl Ale because
She's
I have
a
two Valley Girls living
girl,
in my
Valley
in my house.
girl. Nice.
We need to why don't we have an agreement with 818 Brewing to give you like a 6-pack in order, in honor of us talking about their freaking beer?
I will get back to you on that.
We need to explore that.
We need to do some stuff this summer.
All right, you did something.
Anyway, so our weekend culminated with a visit to the Santa Monica Pier, in which
Nice.
we
Did you ride the coaster?
no,
Ferris
because
wheel?
the coaster sucks. The Ferris wheel was all right. It's
Merry-go-round?
good. It's good at no, Jake.
Did you go to the aquarium?
The dragon.
Bubba Gump Shrimp.
We rode the dragon.
Sea Dragon.
We chased the dragon.
Nice.
The sea dragon. We rode it 7 times. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's
Love
awesome,
that place.
dude.
Oh yeah, and also one of the places Kelly hadn't been to. We like to explore different places in both Philadelphia and LA. Places she knows that she likes to take me, and places I know that that I want to take her. Red Lion Tavern.
Oh yeah,
took her there after the spring showcase. That is one of my favorite summer spots. It has
Very cool.
a beer good. It's weird because it's on a hill. And there are like 3 levels to the Red Lion Tavern. For those who've been there, those who haven't, go. But also fantastic German food. But my thing was, this was funny too. So we go there, and the Lakers game was on, and we're watching a TV outside where clearly there was some damage to it. So there was a stripe right down the middle, and so you couldn't see the Lakers score. You could see Denver score.
Bummer.
And it was funny too because we're watching, and we're kind of watching, and at one point this drunk dude who was like 6'3", kind of like comes up to it, like walks up to it, and is like, all of a sudden he puts something on it, and is basically a Post-it with it basically looked like a post on a telephone pole that said opossum removal. Call this number, and they shredded it. It was kind of a really funny moment. But those are the characters. Hipsterville. It's freaking right next to Silver Lake.
God bless America.
So yeah, that was a fun spot. But yeah, Jake, what's wrong with you?
Not much.
You had prom.
My daughter had
but-
prom, and she had fun. Yes, and then she it's so weird. Like when I had prom, you just gave me a digression, Mike. But when I had prom, I literally borrowed a car from my buddy, drove from Riverside to, I want to say Newport Beach or Long Beach or somewhere.
My God. Damn.
Our prom was somewhere in a coastal city, and I was like a
Which
senior
is
in high
cool,
school.
but yeah.
And I drove my then girlfriend at the time, and we went and had dinner beforehand at some restaurant somewhere, and we're completely on our own, right? And then the prom happened, and then I didn't vote for myself for prom king and missed by a runoff and 1 vote. That's okay. That's all right. I don't regret it. But anyways,
were you popular in high school?
I wasn't until my senior year. But anyways, that's just my story I have to say about prom. Is I lost prom. I lost prom king because I didn't vote for myself, and then my girlfriend dumped me a day later and started dating the security guard at the Northridge Galleria, at the Riverside Galleria. It was a cascading chain of events. It was terrible.
Horrible.
That was my prom experience. Nowadays, the kids, They get onto a bus provided by the school, get bused to a place, have to like take roll, and then to leave the prom, they have to get onto a bus, driven back to the school, and they have to be like whatever, picked up or whatever by their parents.
That's cool.
It's fine, but like there's got to be some sort of in between. Like mine, I will admit, was way too free and casual. Theirs is like, oh my gosh, are we in Stalingrad? You know, like it's we probably need to find a happy medium. But
real quick, here's mine. I asked a friend, and I knew nothing was gonna, because we were really good friends. We were at the downtown Philharmonic.
Nice.
That's where it was. But I had to leave early. As soon as it was over, I had to go home. Why? I had the freaking ACTs in the morning.
Shit.
Yeah. So I didn't post party, didn't do any of that. I had to go be a student. Yeah. So anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Good. Anyways, Molly had a good time, and
cheers.
That was fine.
Nice.
My What's Brewing, I'll just keep it quick because I already went on longer than I thought. One of my favorite podcasts just published a book, and the book was edited and put together by a guy named Christopher Tsunami. This is the Partially Examined Life, which is a philosophy podcast, and it is by 4 guys that started going to philosophy grad school and then ended up dropping out because they decided they didn't want to be philosophers and got real jobs, but then they kept the love of the game going by doing a podcast over the last like 15 years, and it's called the Partially Examined Life. And this is Wes Alwyn, Dylan Casey, Mark Linsenmeyer, and Seth Paskin, and they put together a book that was compiled of some of their podcasts.
Oh, nice.
And it was edited and made into a readable format. But I have listened to this off and on for the last, I think they've been doing it for 15 years. And it's kind of like, not quite like attending a philosophy graduate program, but it's much more than just listening to some sort of like casual thing on philosophy, right? It takes a topic, goes into it fairly in depth, but with the mindset that we are doing this for a beginner in mind.
Following.
And it's adapted over time, and I love it, and I'm so thrilled that they actually have turned this into a book. So it's out there. It's available on Amazon. Just got released, I think, on August 25th or whatever. And it's called The Partially Examined Life, 15 years of your favorite philosophy podcasters. 15 years with your favorite philosophy podcasters. It is in the highly recommend category.
Nice.
That as well as, actually, that's it. So, Mikey, enjoy that. And we'll be back probably next week. We're heading into the off season now. Spring football is over. The portal is closed. There's not going to be as much to talk about. We are going to. Oh my gosh! I'm looking at the Dodger highlights, and it was a bee game in Arizona. That's crazy. Oh my gosh! A giant beehive. Anyways, we are going to try to mix in some looking ahead to the Big Ten programming.
Yeah,
we're going to have some special guests. I saw Wayne at the spring practice, and although he. I mentioned to him that we don't want to wear him out, although maybe some other podcasts may want to wear him out. But we're going to have Wayne on quarterly, as usual. So he'll come on probably the next month or 2. We're looking to get maybe some of our favorite villains, like Will Decker from the Bruin Bible, or some other guys. We're going to look ahead to some of the opponents on the Big Ten schedule. So we'll see. It's all up there in the cloud, and whatever we come up with, we'll come up with. But we want to thank you guys for listening to the What's Bruin Show. Me and Mikey are enjoying doing it, and we will continue to enjoy doing it. And until next time, Mikey, what's on your task list, buddy? Contacting 818 Brewery? Yeah. Other than that?
Or paperback. One of those two, or both.
And until next time, what do we say, Mikey?
Go Bruins.
Good evening.
Smoke 'em if you got it.
That was the What's Bruin Show.
Try us tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
It's gotta be in or out, Mom. In or out. Well, I need the door closed.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Dude, bro, we play some ball on the West Coast.
The final word is boob.